Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Fischer-Anderson, and I am Concord School District's Safety, Compliance, and Title IX Coordinator. I first of all want to start by thanking you volunteers out there who give us your time and your talent and come in and help us within the school district in supporting many of the opportunities that go on for our kids. Whether you're in the library or you're in the cafeteria or you may be out just helping on a field day, your efforts and your help really go a long way for us to be able to do so much for our students. So thank you for that. Today I want to address just a few issues from the district level. You of course should get training when you report to the individual schools that you'll be volunteering in. And so when you get there, I wanted to give you a couple ideas of things to ask about. The first is make sure you're clear on what your job responsibilities are when you're working with the kids. Make sure you understand the safety and evacuation procedures in the event of an emergency. Ask what your work schedule is going to be and where you're likely to be working when you're at the school or wherever it is that you're volunteering. And then who you should go to if you have any specific questions or concerns that arise while you're at a school volunteering. All of those are great questions, and that's going to be very, very helpful information for you to have. Education is obviously the #1 priority of the school district. But second to providing our students a good education is ensuring their safety. So with that in mind, I want you all to know that Concord school property, all of it, is alcohol, drug, and tobacco free. So for example, if you are on your way to volunteer and you stop at the grocery store and you buy a bottle of wine or you buy some beer for an upcoming event that you're hosting, please don't have those beverages in your car if you're on school property, okay? Likewise, if you're in a situation where you might have cigarettes on you, we would ask again that you not bring those into the schoolhouse. Just leave them at home so that we never have any issues with regard to drugs, alcohol, or tobacco, okay? It's important that you understand as a volunteer that you do have some reporting requirements if something should happen while you're volunteering at the school. And I want to spend just a real brief amount of time talking about those. The first thing that you should be aware of is that you as a volunteer have an obligation to report to the principal or to an assistant principal if you suspect that a child you're working with is being abused or neglected. You don't have to have 100% certainty that that's happening, but if you suspect it, if you're seeing bruising, if you're noticing that a child is repeatedly breaking a bone, or even makes a statement to you about an inappropriate touching, it is really important that you say something to the assistant principal or to the principal in the school where you're volunteering. Because again, we want to make sure all of our students are safe. The second issue that you should report if you see it is bullying. Sometimes it can be a developmental issue where the kids are just picking on each other because they don't know any better. But other times it can be a situation that can result in a student not wanting to come to school because they don't feel safe, because they're repeatedly being picked on. It could be physical, it could be harm to their property, it could even be taking place online. So if you witness or if a student shares with you that they are being bullied by another student, please say something right away, hopefully within that day or the next day at the latest, to your assistant principal or your principal so that we can look into the situation. We can figure out what the issue is and deal with it and make sure that that student can continue to come to school and feel safe, included, and supported. And then the third reporting requirement you would have would be if you witness or hear about sexual harassment. Okay, sexual harassment can come in many different forms. It is sexual conduct of an unwanted nature. It can be comments. It could be repeated requests to go out with, by someone to go out with them. It could be inappropriate jokes, emails, texts, conversations about sexual escapades. Okay, none of those things are appropriate for an educational setting. If a student confides in you that they are repeatedly being harassed, either for a date or asked for inappropriate pictures or whistled at, or any of the behavior of a sexual nature that makes them uncomfortable, please say something to an adult in the building. Again, preferably an assistant principal or a principal, okay? We will look into the situation, conduct an investigation if appropriate, and deal with the situation. So again, our students can feel safe and supported when they come to school. The next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is volunteer-student relationships. There's about 6 different things I just want to put on your plate. I'm not assuming any of you will do these things, but in order to be transparent and to make sure you have the most successful volunteer opportunity available, I just want to share with you a couple of don'ts, okay? First of all, please be careful about making any comments to one student regarding another student, any other teacher or employee of the school, or anything negative regarding what's going on in the schoolhouse. It's just not appropriate. Also, I'm going to caution you about socializing with any of our students on social networking platforms. It's one thing if you're involved, let's say, volunteering as a coach, and there's an official change of a game site or a game schedule, and you're asked to send out an email to the team members during the day. That would certainly be appropriate. I would encourage you to make sure that you CC another adult. But what would be inappropriate would be to be having any kind of communication with students after hours into the nighttime about subjects that are very personal and inappropriate. For example, any romantic relationships or problems that they may be having at home. In that situation, if you become aware of a student who is having problems and is looking for help, then again, please say something so that we can get the student into the right lane and to see the right person who may be able to help them with whatever is going on in their lives at the time. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, no sexual or romantic relationships, primarily at the middle school and the high school level. Again, we want to be professional in everything that we do with our students and maintain appropriate boundaries with all of them. If you're in a classroom with a student, the door should be open if it's just you one-on-one. There are windows in many of our doors, and hopefully if you do shut the door for whatever reason, and we do on occasion, make sure that that glass is uncovered. What we don't want to find is that there's a teacher in a classroom with the door shut or locked with the door covered and the lights out, or even a volunteer. That would be inappropriate and could cast some tough questions, could bring about some tough questions. And so we just don't want you to place yourself in that situation. The only time that you can, of course, be in a room with the door locked and the window covered is in the case of an emergency. Okay, that happens, and we do drills, and in that case, that is fine. Another heads up is, please, unless it's somebody you're related to or you have written permission from a parent, we ask that you not transport any students in your private vehicle. There are going to be situations where a student may be left behind or there's an emergency that occurs, and what we would have to do in a situation like that is notify the parent or the guardian, get permission to transport the student, and then what we would want to do is assign a second adult to go along with you to deliver the student to whatever or wherever they need to go. It's a good idea. I know you all want to help, but we just want to make sure that everybody is safe, okay? And then I'd ask you to please protect student confidentiality. As you're working with our kids, you're going to learn about educational issues. You may learn about emotional, physical, personal information that really does need to remain personal. And so if you know of something about a student, I'd ask that you only share it with the teacher, with the assistant principal, the principal, or a counselor, okay? Again, we want to protect student confidentiality. If you see something going on in the schoolhouse, you hear about something and you're uncomfortable in actually reporting it in person, that's okay. Some people, some people don't feel comfortable. So if you go to our website, you go to www.sau8.org there, and you go to our school website, you will see that there is a place on the website, and it says, see something, say something. You would have the opportunity to go ahead and file any kind of report that you want to make. You can remain anonymous. We prefer if you provide a name and a phone number so that we can reach out to you, but you don't have to. But the most important thing is that you feel like you can reach out and that you can inform us of what it is you know, in hopes that we can go ahead and take care of an issue if one is out there. Okay? That website is up 24 hours a day. It's checked every day, and those see something, say something reports are distributed to the principal of whatever school's involved. They go to the superintendent. I often see a copy, and we do pay a lot of attention to them and follow up on them. So the last thing is, and I hope this doesn't happen to any of you, you get hurt while you're volunteering. Be it on the playground, maybe you twist an ankle, or you're in the parking lot and you slip, or maybe you even slip on something in the cafeteria. Please, please make sure that you say something. We will file the report. We just want to make sure that you're safe and that we do right by whatever the situation is. So again, in a nutshell, safety of our students is our number 2 priority behind providing them really great education. Okay, so please help us with that. If you have any questions about any policies in the district or complaints or concerns, again, I'm Karen Fischer-Anderson. You can come and see me in the high school. I'm in room 3003. I will provide a slide with my contact information, and so please feel free to reach out to me. I am a resource. And then finally, again, I just want to say thank you so much for your time and your effort in volunteering, because truly, without all the help that parents and volunteers and grandparents and everybody provides, there are many, many events that we might not be able to put on that we do because of your help. So thanks again.